My first bet, you always do this. I always say my bets 4 times over during my weekly spots that I do. I'm not letting you take my bets anymore.
What do you mean?
I'm not letting you take
It's a totally different show. This is not carryover bet time. What are you trying to do right now?
You wrote down the same first bet that I have, and I'm not.
But I wrote it down first.
I don't care. We have the same bet.
No, we don't have the same bet. I wrote mine down first.
This is one of my favorite bets of the week. I'm not giving this away to you.
Joe, you know how many of my favorite bets you had last year for NFL and college, and I just picked other bets?
This is a new year.
This is no. These are the same rules. I'm not letting you job this.
Okay, we needed to determine some sort of a way for who gets to pick first. Should it be who has the worst week the week prior gets to pick first? Because we never established that. It was usually just a rush job, whoever rushed in.
It's whoever wants it more. 100, if you're not the lead dog, the view don't change, okay? So that's how I'm operating. And last year, if you were in the rundown first on the day, then you had your bets in.
I don't like that.
Hungry dog, man. Hungry dog gets his bets in first.
Fuck you.
What do you want?
Fine. Okay, you stole this from me.
You're Joey Football. You should have the depth of. You should have an infinite depth of knowledge of all these bets.
These picks were out on Tuesday for me. I placed these bets on Tuesday. This bet was one that I was locked in on Tuesday, and you just wrote it down before I could in the document. Whatever. Explain your bet. Explain Ole Miss minus 10.5.
Per the document, I did have Ole Miss minus 10.5 versus Kentucky. Kentucky blew dog last week, and Kentucky looked soft. They didn't. They looked slow. They looked unprepared for the season. Ole Miss dropped 63 as they should have against a much weaker opponent. Kentucky didn't. They're vulnerable. They're a lackluster team in the SEC. Where's the momentum for Kentucky? It's not there. Ole Miss, they lost their golden boy to the NFL draft, who's going to be a stud quarterback in the NFL, and he's probably going to be starting by week 5, and he's racking up a bunch of wins and a bunch of picks. Like, that's what we're looking at for Ole Miss. But they still have it. They still have Lane, and Lane can go and beat Kentucky by more than 10.5 at this point in the season. Kentucky normally likes to creep up on you later and say, oh, well, we're still, practicing and we're still good. Ole Miss, more talented, better team than Kentucky. Kentucky shit the bed last week. They're not bouncing back against a better team.
Yeah, it's a real bad bet. It's a really bad bet. The logic that you just shared, it's awful. And I think the worst part about this is that we have evidence that last year that everybody, including my dumbass, said that Ole Miss was going to blow them out at home. They're going on the road to Kentucky. Yeah. Did you know that there's only a handful of teams that have beaten Kentucky multiple times in Lexington in a short span of time?
No, how would I know that? And what is the short span of time? Wait, I literally was conceding, and then you said short span of time. Wait. Wait.
That was a bad stat. I was half remembering it midway through me reading it. I'm going to read this stat in 1 second. Wait.
I was excited to hear you trash your own favorite bet.
Wait, where is it? No, that's not it.
So, with this pause, I'm just going to rule this as a good bet unanimously across the table.
No. It's not a good bet. There's a lot of reasons why this is a bad bet. If I could find the goddamn, where did I have it? Wait 1 second.
I got plenty of time to wait. Right now.
Read your next one.
So I'm going 2 back to back.
2 back to
All
back.
right, I'll go 2 back to back. My next bet. Florida given 17.5 versus USF. Florida's supposed to be the momentum team this year. Secondly, the state of Florida, primarily the best 3 teams, have already shattered the expectations for that state's premier teams. Florida State, Florida, and Miami. Florida State and Florida just went and shocked the world in week 1. Florida, they're not going to shock the world by beating USF, but I think they got the talent. I'm ready for Lagway to come out and start, dropping D on some bad teams. USF is going to be the next victim for a top-tier Florida school. Florida wins by 18. Chalk it. Mark it.
This one, I will admit, I don't understand why this line is as close as it is. There should be a much larger degree of separation between these two teams. They're absolutely this line not being like 20, 30 points is astounding to me. I think a lot of people got all geeked up on Byron Brown just looking for, and he's a great player, but we're going to learn real quickly why Florida is one of the most underrated teams in the SEC. I still haven't found the stats, so I'm going to read my next. I had it in an article. I can't find the damn article that I had. My first bet, though, Missouri minus 6.5 against Kansas. I said this last week with my Baylor bet, and it hit, and I think the logic applies. By the way, you didn't turn my light on. The logic applies still for this game. You had a team with an advantage on both lines of scrimmage that out-physicaled a Big 12 team. And in this circumstance, you've got a Missouri pass rush that's very gifted and explosive, very underrated. You've got a solid offensive line. It's not as good as Auburn's, but it's a solid offensive line. I do not think that Kansas has the physicality up front to go toe-to-toe with Missouri in this game. I think they're going to slow the game down. They're going to run the rock with Ahmad Hardy and Bo Pabula. They will win this game by 7 or more points. There is a stark difference in the most important area of a college football game.
Okay, I'm fine with that. You want to give your next one here, pal?
Yeah,
since I'm too deep already.
My next one, fucking stat that
He's crashing up.
I am a little bit because I had it. I don't know where it freaking went. What I was going to say, though, my second bet that I really like this week is Baylor plus 2.5 versus SMU. I don't think that this SMU team is as good as many people have made them out to be. I think that this is a direct line of disrespect to Baylor, who has a very explosive offense, but didn't play well against Auburn for all the reasons that I just highlighted for why the other bet, the opposite bet, hit for me last week. SMU also lost a number of their key defensive players. They lost Brashard Smith at running back. This will be a game where Sawyer Robertson and Baylor will be able to separate. So I am sticking with Baylor plus 2.5.
A little nasty. I think they burned a lot of people, myself included, last week. God, I wanted Baylor to beat Auburn so bad.
Did you bet on Baylor?
Yeah.
So you faded me after I gave out that pick.
Yeah. I don't like Hugh Freeze. I don't think he's a good person, and I bet against him. And that is something that I will do. And I won't weigh that in if I'm ever doing an anti-Auburn bet. But in my personal life, I will be emotional and bet against that doofus. My final bet, I can't. You know what? All right, you get your lick back because I'm so stupid I didn't put in your last bet, your auxiliary bet into mine. That's one that I put in for another show tomorrow that I'm going to discuss. I don't know how I missed it. Texas given 36.5 versus San Jose State. What's it feel like getting embarrassed with your golden boy on the biggest stage? Literally the biggest stage anybody's ever seen for a week 1 kickoff. 16.1 average, peaking at 20 million, big noon on a Saturday. Your team goes out there, drops a dud right in the dirt against Ohio State and Ryan Day's smarmy ass. Well, you go beat up on a cupcake like San Jose State. Oh, is fine, but they're not Texas, and they're not Texas starting their revenge tour, starting that everyone's against us. Just you can already see it. I could already feel it formulating that. Oh well, we just got to get back to Ohio State, and everyone's counting us out, and everyone's counting out our quarterback. Well, he was built up too high, and now we're starting another track of irresponsibility in the narrative for Texas. But no matter what, it's still a football team. There's still football players that have caveman minds. I'm one of them. I understand that motivation to go out there and bounce back. They smoke San Jose State. It probably ends up like 60-14.
I just think that that's such a wide. I don't like betting those huge spreads.
I know you don't,
because
I get burned by them often.
Then you keep betting them. Anything that's over. Anything that's 3 scores or more, I am always fearful of a team completely kicking the shit out of an opponent, especially a lower level opponent.
Yeah.
And then just pulling off the brakes.
Yeah, the backdoor cover is the worst feeling that you'll ever have in football.
Sometimes you'll have walk-ons in a game like that, and they just get completely cooked and one touchdown completely scared. It's just too volatile for me. The statistic, I found it. Shout out to Zach Berry of A to Z Sports. Since November 1st, 2001, there are only 3 programs that have won multiple times in Kentucky's backyard. Vanderbilt, South Carolina, and Tennessee have all won twice in the last 4 years. So that was what the stat was. The last 4 years, nobody has won multiple times in Lexington.
Outside of those 3 teams.
Outside of those teams that I just named. There is a very select grouping of teams that have accomplished.
You look me in the eyes and you tell me I should be worried about Kentucky.
I think you should be. I think that, as we knew with Incarnate Word, Zach Calzada was a tremendous quarterback, and he's going to be able to get the boys ready.
Okay, gotcha. All right, I'll be wary. I'm still standing and holding strong, but you know what? I've heard a more impassioned take from Mr. DeLeone.
My last bet, one that I don't love, but then I'm going to take. I'm a little worried about this because Ryan Roberts, the biggest jinx on the planet, loves this bet.
Yeah, I love it too.
Michigan plus 5, and and you like it too, and you're real bad luck.
Yeah,
Michigan plus 5.5 versus Oklahoma. I'm going off of the fact that there is a lot of scary reshuffling happening already with their offensive line after they played Illinois State. That to me is a frightening indicator that after one game where they got outrushed by an FCS opponent, that they do not feel like they're on good footing. This is going up against Wink Martindale, who is a chaos mongerer. This man thrives off of the fact that he sees weakness. He is one of the most psychopathic men in all of football. He will go for your throat and then keep going at your throat after he's taken your head off. That is the guy that he is that is going to step into this matchup. I think that there's an opportunity here that if they can't get things going on the ground, all it will take is a few pressures for them to get an interception or a big sack that gets them the ball back, and they're just going to grind the game down and slow it down. The spread's big enough at 5.5. We got a cushion in there for a 3-point loss, so I'm taking it.
A couple things. I love the chaos mongerer term. I hope that you've been using that on spots this week.
No, it's the first. I just came up with that.
I'd hope you use it.
I'm a linguist.
I like that one. I like this bet. If Bryce Underwood looked any worse last week, I would have some reservations, but he looked sharp. His arm looked sharp, man. The ball had pop coming out of his hand. I like that a lot from him. Yeah. Striking and delivering right in the chest. Yeah. God. Yeah. All right, fine. That's going to be a win. That's going to be a win. I'm going to lose all 3 bets. I just know it.
I can't wait for you to lose all 3 bets.